everyone, my name's Emily and today I'm going to be doing this video about sexism in sport because I play for a local girls football under 15s team and, well, under 16s now actually, and yeah, I just guess I feel quite passionate about this topic, so yeah, I'm going to tell you guys a bit about it. So just imagine this situation where like no women's sport was ever shown, like no media, nothing. A world where like little girls can't pursue their dreams because they've been told that they weren't genetically made or built to kind of play the rougher sports because they're just too delicate. And they can only dream of playing sport professionally because that's what it would have been like back in the day when women would, you know, like stay at home, do all the cooking, wouldn't work, look after the kids, wash the dishes. So yeah, I just don't think that was very fair. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that a little bit. And some people would say, oh no, women and men, they're equal now. It's 21st century. They're not dainty, they're not perceived as objects, we don't need to protect them, they're fine. You know, like there's no such thing as sexism anymore. But I disagree. I mean, the Google definition of equality is a state of being equal in status, rights or opportunities, and I don't think women get the same opportunities as men to play sports, not just football. But did you know that just 5.6% of all club members in football are women? That's a small number, 5.6%. Like, think of the rest of the percentage. But currently we are seeing a lot more women playing sports. But still, how is it fair that women playing the same sport as men at the same ability don't get the same wage or the amount of pay? And some people might say that women just weren't built to play sports, like I said, like they just can't play at the same ability, it's not as interesting, it's just the way it is, you know, you can't change it. But I think differently. I think that it's just because everyone has different things that they're better at, like, you know, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Like, for example, women might be better at getting the technique right than men in swimming, but then men might have the more muscle and, like, you know, the more power to get them across the pool faster, that kind of thing. But why do what we're good at, you know, strengths and weaknesses, pros and cons, why does that have to matter when it comes down to money? And in the USA, for a women's friendly, they can only earn a maximum of $4,950, while the men earn on average $13,166 for the same type of match. Now, those of you watching this might be thinking, that's a lot of money. And yeah, I mean, $13,000 for a men's friendly and $4,000 for a women's, like that's quite a big difference between that for the same type of match. Like, why is that? And also, women's sport makes up just 7% of all sports media coverage in the UK, which is also a small number, and just over 10% of televised sports coverage is dedicated to women's sport. But during quarantine, I got quite bored, as did probably most of you, and I would end up spending way too long on my phone, you know, playing a game, Instagram, Snapchat, that kind of thing. Or I'd end up watching something I'd seen like a million times already, like a DVD that is good, but is it? And yeah, I guess I was missing watching some live sport. So I kind of began looking around, hunting for some women's sport, or football in this case, because you know, I'm part of the football team, so I'm quite a fan of women's football. But all I could find was like highlights, which only last like 3 minutes, so it's not going to keep me entertained for very long, or it was kind of men's match replays of the Premier League kind of thing. And yeah, I was quite disappointed, to be honest. And women's sport, I don't think gets as much credit for the effort that they put in. Or, yeah, I mean, in some sports they do, but in others I don't think they do. This might sound a bit like over-exaggerated, but I think maybe they get shoved in the corner and like constantly taken out of the spotlight by men. And I think they deserve appreciation too. Yeah, don't you think? And as much as there are more people who perhaps prefer to watch men's sport because of your reasons, there are probably still a significant amount of people, or girls, women, anyone, who maybe felt the same way as I did during quarantine or lockdown. And I think women work hard enough and put in enough effort to be recognised just as much as men do. But you could say that men don't get the same opportunities as women in certain sports either. For example, like netball or cheerleading, like it's not very often that you see a boy or a man kind of taking part in that sort of thing. It's very kind of girl and women dominated. So you could say that men and boys just don't get the same opportunities to play as women do. But as you've probably heard before, men and boys get bullied for being interested in sports or other activities that are considered to be feminine. But I think that if girls and women are starting to get accepted for playing rougher sports, then boys and men should get accepted for wanting to take part in sports like ballet, gymnastics. There's no such thing as a women's sport or a men's sport. So why do some people act like women can't take part in sports that are supposed to be for men, or men can't take part in sports that are supposed to be for women? And no matter what sport it is, I think it's supposed to be for everyone and not just a specific group of people. And you might be thinking, well, yes, Emily, but how are we supposed to tackle this? Like, what are we going to do about it? And I think we could do this by opening and promoting more clubs, training sessions, to get girls into different sports from a young age, or even if it's just one sport, then they can at least develop their skills in that and hopefully get a bit further in what they want to do with that. And then maybe in the long term we'll get more female footballers, tennis players, etc. But I think it's not just a lack of opportunity that plagues women, it's also a lack of encouragement. We should get more underrated sports some attention and get people motivated by using successful role models to inspire people. Celebrities, people you could get in to just give a bit of motivation. And I think that children should be taught that sports are a springboard to personal development, or people should have that in mind, kind of, because I think sports, they do help with development physically and mentally. And there shouldn't be anything that holds them back from that, And I also think we should be questioning professional clubs as to why they believe it's acceptable to pay women less than men. We should start challenging clubs so that we can bring about, hopefully, some change for women in sport. Women might have been perceived as dainty, delicate objects, etc. in the past, but this is not the case now. Society should not let past stereotypes direct their opinions and kind of the way they think about and treat others. Surely we're better than that. But then maybe we're not. So times have changed, and the way that women is seen now is way different to what it was, like I said before, when, women wouldn't go to work, stay at home, kind of thing. But as you can tell from what I've kind of said already, the dream of women being treated the same as men is still not quite a reality. And again, it's not just in sports. It's, you know, in jobs, in lots of different things. And in history, women have worked to get where we are now. And they're sadly still fighting for equality. And now we can maybe reflect on the possibilities of a brighter future if we do some of the things maybe that I've said. So imagine a world where women's sport is shown just as much as men's, where girls, boys, men and women get equal attention and recognition for their achievements in sport. A world in which little girls get the same opportunities as everyone else to explore and play the sport that they're interested in. A world in which women don't get glanced at sideways for playing rough sports. So yeah, wouldn't that be great if that did happen, guys? So for now, I'm going to end this video and say goodbye. So yeah, maybe I'll do another video at some point, don't know, but bye!